Hey, let's talk about a topic that not a lot of us think about before we are moving into a new neighborhood, new home. Primarily I work in the Villages, Florida, which is one of the safest neighborhoods in Florida. It's rated 91% safer than other areas in Florida and over 82% safer than other towns and cities in the nation. So overall, it does pretty well. And a lot of us here, we joke that it's kind of its own bubble. So when you're in the bubble, you feel so safe. I've literally worked with homeowners that didn't even have a key. I helped these homeowners sell their home. They had to find their house key because they never even locked their door, and they had been there for over 16 years. There's lots of people that tell me they don't even lock their car doors, and not to promote that because there is crime anywhere that you go, I guarantee it. But I want to share a couple tools with you, and hopefully this will help you as you're making the decision to buy a home, whether it's the Villages or outside of the Villages. And also, if you're living in the Villages, it's good to keep in mind that not everywhere is going to be just like the Villages. So if you are going to Orlando or going to Ocala, there's going to be experiences that you may have that are not going to be like in the Villages. So that's something to keep in mind. And this was brought to my attention for a couple of reasons. One, I was in a meeting with some of our realtors, and some of our top realtors were bringing up this topic about safety and awareness, especially as a female in the real estate industry. Maybe not something that we worry about so much in the Villages. I think as females, we always have that in the back of our mind. A lot of us, whether we carry or we have taken self-defense classes or done something to ensure our safety, that's a good thing to do, right? That you can call your local police force, police department, and ask them if they do self-defense classes. A lot of them will. Here in the Villages, there's a shooting range, shooters that you can go to that will, you can take classes there. So there's lots of resources, and it's good to be aware, even if you're in a very safe environment. But I want to share this experience because literally right after we had this whole discussion, later that afternoon, after all my appointments, I took my daughter to another town about 45 minutes away, or maybe about an hour from parts of the Villages. Anyway, we went to this neighborhood in Ocala to buy her car. And Ocala is, in general, pretty safe depending on the neighborhoods, but there are some sections that are a little more edgy than others. And there was an experience that nothing happened, but it was a very good eye-opener again of being aware of those surrounding areas. And my husband and I were debriefing afterwards and talking about safety, and talking about people moving into areas that they don't fully understand what they're getting into, right? So there was, I had done about an hour and a half to 2 hour appointment with my daughter. She bought this car that she had her eye on for a little while. I missed about 20 phone calls during that time. So as I'm getting to my vehicle to catch up on a couple missed phone calls and things like that, I'm getting into my car, and right there is this kind of shifty 20-something-year-old gentleman who was trying to get into my car. I slammed the door really quickly, I locked it, and he became very angry. I pulled out of there, and I went and made sure I went to the other parking lot right across the street, made sure that my daughter was good. Turns out he had just approached her. I didn't even see the exchange, so bad mama here. I was looking at my phone, and he had approached her right before he came to me and asked her for money for a bus ticket. He had just gotten out of jail, and so when he approached me, and I went across the parking lot to make sure that she got out okay, he actually came back a couple minutes later and tried to approach her in her vehicle, and then saw that I was watching her. So nothing happened. It was broad daylight, but you just never know, right? And of course, your heartstrings go out to someone in need, and you almost say, oh, I wish I could help this individual, find a program for him or something. And my son said to me after, he said, no, Mom, that's not what, it's not the case, right? So you just never know what someone's going through. But the point is that, you do need to be aware. And I looked up on the map, you can go to, there are some different websites. You can go on the Ocala police site or whatever city you're looking in. You can Google and they'll pull up different maps to show you the crime rates in that area. And when I looked up the maps, sure enough, the area that we were in was like bright red. So red is high crime, orange is, still high crime. When you're in the green sections, it's not, it's pretty safe generally. So it's something to be aware, and that's something that you can do when you're moving into a new area. You can pull up these maps online. You can do your research. There's actually in the villages, if you're moving to the villages or you live here already, the villagestalk.com has a new feature on there. You can click on a tab that says crime. And if you click on the crime tab, you can filter through all the different crimes that you want to see, or automatically will pull up all of them. And you can see all the different all the different incidents, separate incidents that have happened. You can click on each one. They'll say who reported it, what it was. You can also, and this goes for any community, you can look up where the sex offenders are. So if there's registered sex offenders, and I did that. There were some on the outskirts. I didn't find any in the base of the villages, but there were some on the outskirts in the community. So it's just something to be aware of. And, unfortunately, there have been stories of people buying a home in a neighborhood, in a community, and finding out after, oh, wow, we're in that high crime rate. So something to be aware of. And again, even if you live in the bubble, so if you live in the villages, you're moving to the villages, it's probably safe to say that you're in a good area. However, if you're venturing out, you're going to a surrounding town or neighborhood, make sure that you check out what those crime rates are beforehand and get involved. Get involved with your community, see what self-defense classes you can take or participate in, and just to be aware of what's out there. So I hope that helps. And if you are buying a home, happy shopping, happy searching for homes. This is not to scare you, but again, just bring awareness. And sometimes we get in that buyer mode. We're so excited. We love the house. We love the cabinets. I'm in a beautiful house right now. I'm going to make a separate video just to show you this home. We get so excited about the actual home, but where is that home? What is it surrounded by? And what is your day-to-day circumstance going to be like? So have an amazing day. I would love to hear your feedback on this, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.